Hi, John Benson from johnbensonfitness.com, and today I'm just flat out pissed off at the media and all of the Michael Jackson lies. I'm not talking about lies from Michael Jackson. I'm talking about lies about Michael Jackson and about his health and what led to his early demise. Here, take a look at the headlines today from MSNBC.com. One of the stories read, "Did Michael Jackson work out too hard? Could that have been what led to his early death?" No. No, not at all. In fact, I highly doubt that. I'm going to show you the story that they printed and quoted an actual cardiologist, which is mind-boggling. Then I'm going to show you all the evidence against that from scores of medical journals and studies that have proven just the opposite. No, I think that we're trying to delude ourselves into believing that there's a rational explanation that isn't negative. And I hate to say that, but I think Michael Jackson's early death was probably a culmination of painkillers, prescription drugs, a lot of stress in his life, a lot of loneliness, and a lot of other things like multiple plastic surgeries perhaps. But I believe all those things probably culminated in his early and sad departure from this world. But the scary thing here is for the rest of us, because the media is perpetuating a lie that working out too hard when you're quote-unquote middle age can actually lead to sudden heart attacks and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to show you the evidence for that is absolutely nil, except when it comes down to, ironically enough, long-distance stuff like marathons and things like that, where your heart is actually not beating at an excessive pace. It's just beating at a sustained pace for a very long period of time. And more than likely, those deaths are due to electrolyte imbalances rather than sudden cardiac arrest from too much exertion. In fact, I'm going to show you some really cool studies that show exactly why I wrote 7-Minute Muscle and why that is the best way to train. Because brief, short exercise for people at any age, but especially people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, is proven to be not only more beneficial for the heart, but also more beneficial for results. And after all, we want both. First, let's look at the BS story in today's MSNBC.com report. Okay, here's the study. Fitness risk after 50. Did Jackson do too much? Superstar's death may offer lessons for other middle-aged exercisers. It's interesting to note that they start off by saying too little is known about why Michael Jackson collapsed and died mere weeks before an international comeback tour. At least they're honest about that. And then they go on to say, early reports suggest that Jackson, 50, suffered a heart attack or sudden cardiac arrest on June 25th. While there's some question about possible drug use, some question, I don't think that there is some question, but nonetheless, doctors say launching an arduous exercise program causes problems for older people every day. Okay, arduous exercise program. Yes, if you jump into something without having any kind of conditioning behind you, you jump into something too fast, of course that can be dangerous. No one's questioning that. But look at what the doctor goes on to say. After age 40, the frequency of sudden cardiac arrest goes up dramatically under the stress of exercise, says Dr. Mark Estes, past president of the Heart Rhythm Society based in Washington, D.C. Is he right? I don't think so. And fortunately for you and for all of us, neither do a lot of doctors and research specialists in this area. Let's just take a look at a few studies here. This one comes from the British medical journal called Heart. And researchers conducting the study found that Irishmen who worked their bodies the hardest saw the most significant reduction in premature cardiac death compared to those who exercise less vigorously. So you might be thinking, well, that's probably fine for someone who's 30 or 25 or whatever. No, because this study was a 10-year study conducted by researchers at Belfast University of men ages 45 to 59 with no evidence of heart disease. So much for the middle age intensity theory. Among those who died of cardiac-related ailments, researchers found those who participated in most aggressive physical activity lived the longest, while those who performed less vigorous activity died sooner. Again, this is interesting because this flies completely in the face of what the other doctor just said. Well, okay, maybe this is a lone study. Granted, 10 years, it was a good study. Are there any more? You bet there are. Let's look over here, the British Journal of Sports Medicine. This is very interesting. Again, we're looking at middle-aged men, although the same can apply for women, as we're about to see. And this study in particular backs up everything that I say in 7-Minute Muscle, which, by the way, has a 7, 14, and 21-minute protocol. I follow the 14-minute protocol. But look at what they found. Physiological and biochemical effects of a carefully graduated course of vigorous gymnasium training with 2 or 3 weekly exercise sessions lasting only 15 minutes have been studied in middle-aged London businessmen. What did they find? It is suggested that this exercise training program possesses many features which are advantageous if increased physical activity is to be more widely used as a method of reducing some of the risks in coronary heart disease. So we have brief training, we have intense training, and we have a reduction in risk factors in coronary heart disease. Here's yet another one. This from the University of Minnesota simply says, evidence underscores value of exercise. Okay, that's pretty self-evident. Look at this. A study of middle-aged men and women has found that vigorous exercise did the most to help prevent heart attacks. The study of 14,000 people shows that intensity and duration of exercise is more important, listen to this, than less intense exercise done more frequently. Folks, that is exactly what most people do. Moderate to low intensity exercise done over long periods of time. So what we're seeing here is studies that confirm that brief, intense exercise is actually healthier and more beneficial for the heart and produces better results than long duration exercise. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't walk? Absolutely not. Walking is one of the best things in the world you can do. There's 1,000 studies out there that say that. However, when it comes down to protecting your heart, nothing, absolutely nothing beats intense, short, infrequent weight training. And that's what these studies are all saying. If you want to learn more, my book 7-Minute Muscle covers this exact process, exactly how it's done, 7, 14, or 21 minutes a day. And it includes a 9-minute cardiovascular program that has been studied in 4 separate universities and has been proven to be equally, if not more beneficial at increasing VO2 max and other cardiovascular-related health parameters. So if you want to learn how to get fit faster and protect your heart at the same time, I want you to read my 7-Minute Muscle page. The page is below or the link is in the sidebar. Go check it out and let me know what you think. Also, please comment. I want to know if this makes sense to you. If it makes sense to exercise once you've built up to it in a brief, intense, and very focused fashion versus what the masses are doing in alternative, which is long duration, cardio bunny style workouts. I think when you look at the facts, there's absolutely no comparison. Thanks.